Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vidrick Jordan. Hope you guys are great. Oh, guys, such an underband. You guys just taking some notes earlier. All right, now I'm getting so many people to come write me in and beg me, please move this up. Please move this up. I understand. I know about the divine revelation of hell. I understand. I've read the book so many times since 2010. I never want to become foolish enough to be numb to this book, so I'm taking some morning notes. All right, now to make sure I get this in with you guys by 7:30 to 8:30 tonight. All right, now. So I'm doing all my running around now, my extra routine and everything. Now it snowed this morning here where I'm from. Now, like, if it snows near, I'm saying it's going to be a very, very special year. I got my pursuit and everything. I cannot wait to go work in ways you guys cannot believe. Just Jesus, I cannot wait to go work. I can't wait to go work. Pursuit this month before the Lord. All right, now there's no way for me to run and hide. And there's so many eyes up here. Every fool up here and everybody that hates me would love to see me fall flat on my face. I would never announce this without being serious. All right, now I'm not giving any hints about my trip. Just be up here every day. Just like the reveal shots. I deliver, right? I am who I say I am, right? All right, just the same with now. Just the same, be up here every day. And also, I got one scheduled in February. I told you guys I paid for this stuff ahead of time. I cannot wait. God is so good. Look at my best, being my best, going to pursue this goal. I've wanted to act since I was a kid. I cannot wait to work. I can't wait to work. I can't wait to work. Let me shut up. All right, now. I'm not outside, so I'm not afraid to scream. I told you it snowed this morning. It's freezing behind cold outside. It only snows here every 8 years. I know that sounds horrific, but I'm being honest with you guys. It never snows here. Like in a year that it snows, it's always something special that happens. All right, now. So my pursuit is one of my first acting role. That's another one, before the Lord, getting my own guy and actually dating after 20 years, my own guy. God is so good, I haven't dated anybody in 20 years. I look forward to that. But most importantly of all, I look forward to delectable, crushes, acting, and hyperrealism lessons. I cannot wait to work. I can't wait to work. I can't wait to work. All right, now I'm getting some note-taking done, because you guys are really just hammering me. Please move this up. Please move this up. All right, now. I would have came in whenever I'm trying to read through things I'm studying. I'm trying to make sure that I stay serious so I can make sure that I'm not writing anything down sloppy and I can, we can go over this stuff, with pristine, precision is pristine, is cleaned up, because this is very important subject matter, that's before God. Some of the snow is still outside even though the sun is out. I love that, I went outside to make me a snowball. I promised to Jesus, I went outside and made a snowball. It froze my hands half to death. I didn't want to wear my gloves because I didn't want to get them wet. I wish I did. Gloves would dry to my hand, freezing from that, but it's pretty cool to see, though. Very special year. I told you guys, God is so good, I thank my Lord for letting me even travel to Los Angeles, not just this month, but next month too, and however much I need to. I just thank the Lord, I ain't stunning. I give God praise, glory, and honor. I work my butt off. I cannot wait to go work. I'm going out there to pursue. I cannot wait, you guys. I would like to apologize to you guys for having it so late at nighttime. I told you guys about those 2-a-day workouts. I have bikini shots on the beach in June. That's my goal. So I'm trying to make sure that, I'm nice and, right and tight, nice. That's for the Lord, plus acting and pursuing, I go pursue this much, you guys better believe every eye, every fool and every eye is up here. I don't even care about the rest of it. Yeah, but you guys had Matt, so, you guys up here too. So, I'm not lying. I'm not stunning, flexing in front of this for real this time. I never announced publicly ever, except for in 2016 that I was going to Los Angeles. I didn't think to last year, but in 2016 I publicly announced that I said, guys, please pray for me. I'm going to Los Angeles for the very first time tomorrow. All right. I found a couple of jobs too when I was out there in 2016. I didn't like my weight too much, so I came back to lose the weight. So I have no excuse to hide behind now. So, I'm going to tell you guys on the day of, you guys know for reasons, I'm going to tell you guys on the day of when I go this time. All right now, but I'm trying to get some note taking done. You guys had mad questions, just Jesus, about last night. One about the lady, the preacher. I got so many questions coming, I can't even front. You guys want to go over it. You guys want to have a bit of a discussion. I'm not trying to beat around the bush. You got the preacher, she wound up going to hell. It broke my heart to hear about her. And also the lady, the 23-year-old, you guys want to know more about him. And also you guys asked about the lady with the rotten behavior. Yes, all right. So I guess we'll start with the preacher first. That's only fair, I suppose. All right, now, since I talked to you guys about her yesterday before I read to you guys about what happened, and Marilyn wrote me, Marilyn, it is so nice to meet you. You were saying, didn't you say that she would go through the same process of being a lost soul in hell? Yes, she would go through the exact same process of being a lost soul in hell, and how she's going to see the queen of Satan, it's going to be this extremely beautiful woman in this room, and then she's going to tell her, woman, help me, because, she was in skeletal form, so they put a film over her, and her flesh started to melt off, and it started to hang thinking she was bones. I'm serious, you know. And said, you know, she was on the back of this very foul, older, you know, animal-looking thing that was really just giant. And he was riding through hell, and he stopped at a room that said Queen of Satan, all right? And then, like, you know, she was like, woman, help me. She knows she was, woman, help me. And she looked down at her, and she started saying all sorts of horrible, blasphemous, cursing things at her. And then she started to change form. She changed into a dog. She changed into a cat. She changed into a man. You know, a young man. She changed into a snake. She changed different forms. I'm serious. And then, you know, said it was a room that was it was a beautiful room with full of luxuries and treasures. Now what is that about? But yeah, that happened. And then that animal thing started moving again. And she was on top of this pile of dead bones. She was in the jaws of hell. You know how we got, like, you know, the body of hell is like an actual human body. You know, it's like, you know, it's underground and it's in the center of the earth, but it's shaped like a body. Okay, the part that this happened to her, she was in the jaws of hell. She said she felt her, and I didn't understand when they say worms, and I say when you guys are asking about that, you know, Miss Marilyn, she was asking about that. And she was like saying, you know, your name is Marilyn, huh? All right. Now, I'm not even making that up. Her name is Marilyn. You know, she didn't give me a last name. It's very nice to meet you, Marilyn. All right. Now, if this is a situation about Marilyn Monroe as a famous lady, no, I don't believe so. You know, the lady ran into a house that died. You know, she died in a car crash. She ran into a house. But this lady said her name is Marilyn. All right. But, you know, you asked me, you said, you asked me about what happened to her. But, see, when she was saying worms, and I reread this last night. She asked me this question. I got this question in last night, so I had some time to go over it. And I reread this chapter of this, you know, the chapter's down to the entire book, and she was like saying how worms began to swarm. They swarmed her skeleton, and she said it was just like she felt them swarming her. She was pulling them out, and she was screaming and crying. Said she was in so much pain. How she had said the pain wasn't constant in some areas. Say how it would come and how it would go, and it'd be like unbearable pain. And she would cry and she would scream. Miss Baxter said the Lord wanted her to know that, you know how sometimes you wake up and you know. I mean, even if you, like, you know, you as a kid, you know, you like your Lord, you know, you sometimes you remember things in the distance, you know, but He wanted to make sure that she always had that with her so she can have a conviction to tell people. So she was like one of the lost souls in hell. She had said how they locked her in the jail cell, and it was other souls around her crying and screaming. And when she would start to quote scriptures, demons would come up and tell her to shut up. And they told her they put her over this big dark deep hole and said they would throw her down, and if she did not shut up quoting scriptures, so she stopped. And then, you know, she got to the point she couldn't take it anymore. Then an unseen force lifted her out of the cell, and she was outside of her house, and she was crying and wailing in Jesus' arm. You know, she was wailing in Jesus' arm. She was so upset. She was so sad. And she was like, Lord, why? He was like saying, you know, peace be still. And she said she felt herself gain strength. Said she was on her knees crying. This happened to her when she was like 19 years old, 1976. And she said she was really young, you know. That's before God, you know. And she was like saying, you know, this happened to her. And she was like, Lord, why? He's like, I needed you to know that it was real. And she said after she went through the process of the skeleton that the people that died go through in hell, said she was sick for several days. She was really sick, you know, and she... You know, and understandably, she was like a lost soul in hell. She said she didn't, you know, like how they became skeletons, how they poured this film over her and her flesh melted off. And it started to hang off the bones like the other people. It's sick. But that's what you got. You asked about that, Marilyn, but that's what happened to her. If you guys like, I can read you guys that part tonight. I'd rather not skip around and keep it in order. Maybe that's best. And also, Max. Hi, Max. Max wrote me. He was like saying, you know, did she actually see Satan? Yes. Said Satan was built like a bodybuilder. Said he was real big. He had hoofs. He had hoofs like a pig. He had this giant, massive head, and said in his face he looked so old and so tired. Said he just looked like he just had been alive for so long. She couldn't put an age on his face. Said he just had he looked old in the face, and he looked just tired. And then he would pick up. He was like, it was this scene. It was this old house, and it was like this gray field, and it was this gray house. And she had said how Satan would grab the earth. She was seeing a vision how Satan would grab the earth, and he had horns on his head, and how the horns would start to go through hell, how the horns would start to go through the earth, and all those demons would be released to the earth to cause havoc and confusion and destruction. And he would start shaking the earth, like, you know, I mean, Satan is he's a supernatural being, you know. Said he was like, you know, he was shaped like a bodybuilder. He had all these gigantic muscles. He had pig hoofs. He had hoofs. He didn't have feet. I told you he's not made in the image and the likeness of God. She saw him. He had hoofs. Remember, when we hear about him as an angel, you know, we hear about his beauty. You understand what I'm saying? They said Satan was the most beautiful angel because of his beauty. That's why when people be like, you're so beautiful, that beautiful stuff, let it be in one ear out the other ear. Oh no. Look at the lady that said she was so beautiful and how Satan used that beauty. He used his beauty. You think he won't use your beauty too? When people say you're so beautiful, let it be in one ear out of the other ear. Thank you, and keep it moving. You're no better than nobody else. I equate myself to that standard. If anybody don't ever get, but yeah, said he was lifted up because of his beauty. He thought he was better, and to the fact that he manipulated, seducing spirits, that manipulation, that seduction. You guys had questions about this. That started with Satan. I appreciate you guys thinking about Los Angeles and everything. Oh God, but I have to stick to task here. I have to be obedient to what the Lord, told me to talk to you guys about it. You guys have questions, we need to talk about it. All right, but it said how Satan was so beautiful. Satan was so seductive and manipulating. He got 1/3 of the angels to follow him. The Bible says because of in his own sight he was lifted up because of his beauty. He thought he was more than anybody else, and he wasn't. God showed him. He kicked him out of heaven. And then you read the scripture over. Jesus said, "I beheld Satan fall from heaven like lightning." That's why a lot of people, never mind, I'm not going to even get into that because people you got fools up here listening, they're going to try to dabble and stuff. I'm good. All right now, but that's what wound up happening. All right, with that, yeah, she did go through the process of being a lost soul in hell. She said how maggots infested her skeleton, and she could feel them things. She would pull them out, they would just keep coming and coming and coming. It's disgusting. I said maggots, God forgive me, worms. All right, said they were big white worms. All right, now it's just disgusting. It's crazy. All right, now, and also Max was asking me, did she see Satan? Yes, she did see Satan. I just described it. Said he had hoofs. He didn't have feet. He had hoofs. You know how a pig has hoofs. He had hoofs. It said how he had horns and how his horns got bigger and bigger and bigger as he started shaking the world. And as his horns got bigger, he started sticking his horns into the world. Demons would be supernaturally released into the world to cause havoc. All right. All right, now another one came in. You guys asked about the preacher in hell. Yes, she did a crime of passion. It was a crime of passion. She murdered him. She said, the Lord said, well, love was in her heart once. If somebody, it's some people out here. People will put a number on you. I've never been married before. I'm single. I'm looking forward to dating my own guy. Before the Lord. That's for the Lord. Obviously, I'm not, making that up. No. But she, so I don't know how it feels to be married. But she was married to this man, and he was having an affair on her. And then when then she found out about it, he stopped it. He said, I'm sorry, to the fact that Jesus took him at his word. He said he was sorry. He said you can work on your marriage with him, or she could even divorced him. How the law of divorcement is in the Bible. If she could not get over it, and she was so hurt about the adultery, instead of her being bitter, it's like she stayed with him to hate him. And I can't criticize this woman. She's already in hell, so she doesn't need my criticism. This is in 1976, so nothing new up under the sun. You guys asked about, says a woman, and it's a video to this, says a woman that she seduced him. Said Satan seduced him into this affair. He put a seducing woman on the path. So women will, some people out here, it's some men like this too, but in the most instances that I've heard this, I can't even lie, I heard women. It's some women out here that will break up people's homes with a smile on their face based on what they can get. The Lord is very cognizant. He's very aware of the things that goes on. That's why he told her. He said, forgive him. The Lord could have gave her somebody better, or she chose to stay and work on her marriage. The Lord could have. The Bible says if you be pleased to dwell with them. After somebody has infidelity on you, you can go to the scripture. You can divorce the person, and the Lord is not going to be mad at you for that. The Bible says if you be pleased to dwell with them after they do something. If you be pleased to dwell with them, you can stay with them and you can work on the marriage. See, she chose to stay with him, so they could have worked on it. She didn't want to work on it. She wanted to hate him. All right, but if you don't be pleased to dwell with them, she should have dumped that joker. She should have dumped his behind. You understand what I'm saying? If she could not get over it because he hurt her so bad, and she let it turn into bitterness, and it's no excuse because the Lord gave her a way out. The Lord said, I gave you a way of escape. Did you guys read that? He said, I gave you a way of escape. Either she could have got a divorce or he would have healed her marriage, one way or the other, but she chose to stay with him just to hate him. And then said, even though he had stopped the affair, he stopped it. He had said one day Satan entered into her, a crime of passion. And then people kill people in a crime of passion, and they kill themselves. The Lord don't want to hear about that. You just murdered 2 people, and then you murdered yourself. Said Satan completely took her over. She wound up in hell. She murdered 3 people, including herself. The Bible said, we did not give ourselves lives, so when people kill themselves, they murder themselves. You understand that? It's not saying that all people that kill themselves go to hell. No, because some people out here have mental problems and stuff. Some people out here, they go through all manner of stuff and they get depressed in this life. Don't let anybody tell you that everybody that kills themselves goes to hell. That's not true. That's not true. Some people, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you point blank and like this. Point blank and like this. If you premeditate your own murder, You're not calling on God for help. It's like people do things on the spur of the moment. They feel like they can't take it and make a split decision. Sometimes those folks don't go to heaven, but I'm telling you point blank, and Miss Baxter, she said this in the video too, and I need to post it for you guys. If you kill yourself, and you know it full well of what you're doing, you contemplating, you planning it, you will go to hell for it. You know better. But people with mental illnesses and stuff, and they don't go to hell when they don't know. You understand what I'm saying? No, all right now. But like, but said how... she a crime of passion. One day, she killed him. She shot him. She murdered him. She went to other woman. She murdered her, and then she murdered her. And then he had stopped the affair. Then she murdered herself, and she wound up in hell, screaming and crying, reading scriptures in hell. And people around her screaming and crying, saying shut up, because like every time she reads scriptures to those people in hell, she's reminding them over and over and over and over and over again, they miss Jesus, they have no hope. And some of them would scream out, is there still hope? Why are you still reading this? And there's no hope for those people. So it's like she's sticking a knife in their heart over and over and over and over again. And she was like, Lord, I'll be good now. Lord, I'll forgive now. Lord, I'll forgive now. Man, let these folks go. Man, don't be so hurt and you stay in a relationship knowing that you're hurt. I don't care if you're dating somebody, whatever the case may be. This lady was married to this man. Don't be so hurt at anybody that you would take a weapon and try to kill and destroy somebody. You will go to hell for it. You take it into your own hands to go try to hurt and harm another person. God didn't go for that. Life is precious in God's eyes, because you understand what I'm saying? Life is precious to God because only God can give life. So who are you and I that we would go take a life from somebody else? She went to hell. You understand what I'm saying? She was not allowed to repent after she murdered herself. She died. She didn't go to the hospital. She died. She didn't have a deathbed confession. She died. That was it. She in hell. She burning and screaming. We read about the worms. We heard about the worms on her flesh. We read about her. Her bony skeleton reached up to the Lord, and she can only tell what they are based on when they talk, because all of them are skeletons. All of us have a skeleton. All of us have a skeleton. How the soul is not just floating around in hell burning. The soul is trapped inside the skeleton. And then you guys ask questions about the 23-year-old, and then you guys ask questions. You guys had questions about the lady that was the whoremonger. As if, and then, you had a fool and they feelings about that. I told you I'm not sugarcoating a darn thing. This came out in 1976. I didn't make that up. If anybody's up here, they have a complaint about it, stop coming up here being nosy. Not changing a darn thing to try to die down somebody's feelings. The devil is a lie. Nor am I high-fiving, and nor can I judge anybody in a condition like that. If you're being convicted, listen to it, drop it. I'm not sugarcoating a darn thing. I heard about that, and I don't care. I promised the Lord I would clean up my behavior. I'm not sugarcoating anything. That did happen. That happened in 1976, how that woman would be from man to man to man to man to man. Because she wanted things. How she would even go to church and break up people's houses, and so much came in about that I could care less. Go back and read the chapter from yesterday night. Go read through the book that was written in 1976, 6 years before I came onto the earth. The Lord told me. I'm not sugarcoating anything. See, that's the problem with preachers and stuff. It's not saying I'm better than any preacher. I'm a teacher, actually. No. It's just simply saying that I'm not going to high-five and patty cake no whoremongering sin. Heck, I got some stuff in my life I'm not perfect. You understand that we all fall short. I can't judge anybody, but that was in the book. That is what God showed her. That is what she wrote. People got mad and said, you can't go to hell for whoremongering. You better believe, yes, you can. That's what the major complaint that came into me about the rant. Said people, saying that a fool was in their feelings, said you can't go to hell for whoremongering. You can't go to hell from being like that. You better go read it again. She saw these things with her own eyes. How a woman died and went to hell because of that. I'm pretty sure a couple of men in hell for whoremongering too. God is not a respecter of persons. I didn't make that up. I'm not for the spare a thing. I'm gonna read the whole thing like the Lord told me to. If I don't read it, blood be on my hands. I'm not for the patty cake and high five, no type of sin. I'm not perfect. I can't judge anybody. I'm reading this in perfect order, not planned. We even came to a preacher, as somebody who teaches. I came to a preacher. Her husband ran around on her and stuff. I'm like, nah, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life than deal with some mess like that. If you in a relationship with somebody like that and there's something like that happening, you can't get over it. You need to divorce them. Oh no, divorce is behind. Or if it's a man, divorce her behind. These are people who actually married, not playing house or shacking up, or just having sex. These are people who are actually married. You understand that? And how she could not get over it. And that bitterness took her to hell because in a heat of passion did not excuse her behavior. She still wound up going to hell. You guys also asked about the 23-year-old. All right, now, yes, he went to a party one night. The Lord said he kept calling him and calling him. Said he was raised up in church. He knew better. The Bible, it's like, the Bible says, when children, he's 23-year-old, he was a man, but the Bible talks about children's that age of innocence. Like, people think when children, there are no children in hell, I'm here to tell you. There are no children in hell. What child do you see in hell? There was a 16-year-old in hell, yes, because he knew right from wrong. But little bitty children and babies, there are no babies in hell. People want to have this argument because babies can't be saved. How are they supposed to say the sinner's prayer if they can't talk? They're called the innocents in heaven. We're going to get to them. They're called the innocents in heaven. Even aborted babies, they're in heaven. And how they go before this tree called this forgiveness tree, and how they each take a leaf and they say, Lord, we forgive all of those who murdered us. Will you forgive us? Will you forgive them too? And how the Lord said it must be thousands and thousands and thousands of babies there. And how the Lord said how out of these clouds, how the Lord, he's not going to show anybody living his form. He can't show us his face because we see God's face. We can't live. We'll die. You understand that? The Bible says no. The Lord actually told Moses that, and Moses was God's chosen. Moses was the only good man that saw God face to face in a pillar of a cloud. He hid his face even from his most chosen, Moses. So how much more if the Lord gives us visions, or the Lord took her through heaven? If somebody see heaven just like he took her through hell, how much more will he not show us his face? No. Say how it must be tens of thousands of babies there that they had been aborted on the earth. Those babies will live forever. Do you understand that? They're called the innocents in heaven. People think that when babies are aborted, they go to hell. Well, I don't know what, I don't understand. They think that children that die young, they go to hell because they never said the sinner's prayer, and that's not true. They call the innocents in heaven. How can they say the sinner's prayer if they did not know? How can you and I see mercy and God wouldn't see mercy, and he's so much more merciful than you and I? There are no children in hell. When they cross the age of maturity and they know better, that's when they start going to hell. You have a 16-year-old that was in witchcraft. I told you guys about that. He was in the occult. His neighbor found him decapitated. A witch in the occult with him took his head off. Blood sacrificed him to Satan, most likely. He locked between two planks in hell, burning and screaming on fire, saying, tell the teenagers not to join the occult. Don't try to serve Satan. He tried to serve Satan to get ahead in this world, to get power from Satan. They sacrificed him. They cut his head off. He in hell. He was screaming and crying. The mafia was in hell. Said somebody went into their office and shot him to death. And how they died at hell. They in hell. But when people say babies are in hell, don't ever say that. That's not true. And small children are in hell, don't ever say that. That's not true. Say how those babies and people, I don't know why people, why would aborted babies go to hell? I don't understand that. Something came in about aborted babies being in hell. What did they do? No. What did they do to deserve hell? There's no aborted child in hell. No. Let me tell you guys what happened to aborted babies. Aborted babies go before the throne of God, and the Lord makes him or her into a full 9-month baby. And the baby is raised up in heaven. The baby grows up in heaven like we grow up on the earth. The baby grows up in heaven. If they parents repent of that sin, one day they'll see the baby again. Either the baby will be a grown person, or the baby, they sometimes stay little, so the parent can come raise the child. We're going to go over it. It's really supernatural. You guys had a lot of questions about that, but this is what happens to aborted babies. The Lord will form that baby. The Lord will take the vapor of a spirit. Said the spirit is like a vapor. They don't even have a body yet. So the spirit is like a vapor. And that's what when people like this sex change, pray for people like that. You can't condemn these people and say people must be in some real hurt to want to change their sex. Something came in about that. But one thing about your eternal soul, you are who you are. If your soul is a boy before you become a boy, your soul is a girl before you become a girl, I'm here to tell you. The only thing the body does is follow the instruction of the soul. God knew what he made us. You understand that? So pray for people in that condition because they're upset and they're sad about who they are, and that's very sad. Pray for them that such a one be restored, that they be happy with themselves. Because even if they mutilate and change the body, how can they change the soul? But this is what happens to aborted babies, all right? Babies, they die, and they go before God's throne, and the Lord makes them into a full 9-month baby. The girls are raised. The girls are like in a house together. It's a lot of children. The girls are in one section together, and the boys, they're all kept together. How the girls are dressed in like little pink pastels. Like on the earth, how you have a girl baby, they put her in pink. In heaven it's the same way. If it's a girl baby, you wrap her up in pink, and if it's a boy baby, you wrap him up in blue. There's a lot of the examples that we get from the earth. We get that stuff out of heaven. We don't even know it. How, you know, the doctors, they'll wrap the baby up like if you have a newborn son, you wrap him up in blue. That's a boy. Even though my favorite color blue too, but I'm a grown up. But you have a newborn girl, you wrap her up in pink to signify she's a little girl. Does that make sense? The same thing goes on in heaven. When people say that the aborted babies go to hell, that broke my heart. Don't ever say that. That's not true. You know, that's not true at all. Don't ever think that. And say how these babies, how these little bitty children, they always go before this tree called the forgiveness tree. And each one of them will take a leaf off this tree and they'll lay it on the ground in front of the altar of the Lord. And there's a little altar. The Lord have the altar come down to their level. And obviously the Lord is so massively huge. You know, he's bigger than planets. He is so big. You know, people want to joke now. He's not obese or anything. Oh no, he's big and he's power. You know, he's like in spirit form. He's like in the shape of a man. But he has, he has like a solid. I'll let you guys listen to it. I don't want to give it away because let's talk about hell first. I'll tell you about the rewards in heaven. But somebody asked about these aborted children and said how these children take these leaves off this tree called the forgiveness tree, and it's a little altar that come down to the baby's levels. I just thought that was so sweet how God, he thinks of everything. And how the children, they put a little leaf at the altar and say, Lord, we forgive those who murdered us. Will you forgive them too? And the Lord reaches out to each and every one of them. It must be tens and tens of thousands of them there. And he hugs them and he loves them. He comforts each and every one of them. That's the type of, it just brings a tear to your eye. I ain't never had an abortion. I ain't got no children. No. I'm publicly saying this because that's true. No children. But it just touched my heart how the Lord, his compassion, his love, his empathy, how he takes time with every single last one of those children. His patience. How he takes time with every single last one of them children, those children, and he loves them. Because he teaching them to forgive the people that murdered them. Teaching them to forgive the people that murdered them and took their chance away to live. Teaching them to forgive the people that murdered them and took their chance away to, in this life to walk here like you and I. Nobody aborted us, we walk here. But somebody aborted children don't cease to exist. They go to heaven. They live forever. Once a human soul is created, that's it. That person will always exist. It's people who have lost babies here and they've mourned for them. They'll see them again one day if they make it to the Lord. If they make it to heaven, if they receive Jesus. But that's what happens to aborted babies. They become a real person, a whole person like you and I. Alright? Alright, now, you guys asked about let me see, I'm trying to read through my notes, alright now. Yeah, you guys asked about the boy that died in the car crash, and he was drunk. Yes. Alright, said he was leaving a party. He said he died in a car crash, and said the Lord kept tugging at him and tugging at him and tugging at him for years to, like, get his life right. How the Lord kept tugging and tugging at him, because, he was raised up in church, he knew better. He went to a party one night, and the Lord, he was like telling Jesus, he was like, he wanted to live his life. He said, so he thought, living his life. He was like, I serve you one day. All right, when he told him he was serving one day, he went to a party one night, he died in a car crash. The Lord said he died instantly. He didn't go to the hospital. He went on his deathbed. He died instantly, and suddenly he was in hell. Said other people died in that car crash, but nothing was mentioned about what happened to them. That's what happened to him. Said he preferred strong drink over Jesus. He wanted to drink and he wanted to get drunk, Said he enjoyed getting drunk. He enjoyed drinking. All right, that's what happened right now. Let me get back to this, guys, because I have a bit of a routine. We have 27 minutes to do a good God. The questions came in. Answer some more questions this afternoon. It's 12:26, so check back at about 4:30 to 5 o'clock right now. I love you guys, darling. Thank you guys so much for all that mad pursuing love, that Los Angeles love. I cannot wait to work. Obviously, good God, I'm saying this for all these people, so it's not a lie, a hoax, or a joke. I'm in it to win, and I'm in it to work. When I say win it, no stupidness or foolishness, no. I'm talking about real deal win it, like working and stuff, and building something like the electrical crushes, with no apologies. I thank the Lord for who Jesus is. I cannot wait to work. I can't wait to work. I can't wait to work. I can't wait to work. Let me stop. All right, let me start. Keep taking notes. All right now, and I wish you all an excellent day. All right, and I still have to get my outdoors time. Have a good day.